Hi, Dr. Cleveland. So, our Build a Family project, we decided to do Dolly Parton and Johnny Depp. I just think it's just kind of a weird duo, so thought it would be kind of funny. So, anyways, this is the pictures that Mia made, so she's going to explain them for you now.
If you want to come closer. Okay, so you can't see it on both of them, but both parents have unattached earlobes, and that's the dominant trait. You can't see it on Dolly, but she does. For the hair color, Dolly has blonde hair, and Johnny has brown hair. For Johnny Depp, his polygenetic trait is that he is 5'10", which is taller than the average male, and Dolly is shorter than the average female, which is her polygenetic trait, and she's 5 feet tall. Dolly's hair is curly while Johnny's hair is straight, and in this world where they are together, Dolly is colorblind and Johnny is not.
Very interesting. So then now we're into complete dominance for unattached earlobes. So the dominant in this would be unattached earlobe, while the recessive would be attached earlobes. So the father is homozygous dominant and the mother is homozygous dominant, as you can see here in the Punnett square. So the genotypic ratio would be that 4 homozygous dominant to 0 to 0. So phenotype would be unattached earlobes, and all offspring will have unattached earlobes. So, and then now on codominance, so Dolly has blonde hair, so she's A raised to the B dominant, and Johnny has brown hair, so he's A raised to the D for a dominant trait. So the genotypic ratio would be 4A raised to the B and then A raised to the D, so it's heterozygous. So it's 4:0 ratio, and the phenotypic ratio is also 4:0 ratio of brown and blonde hair mix. So all the F1 generation will have a mix of brown and blonde hair, but if anyone from that generation mates with a heterozygous, there's a chance that it could be brown, blonde, or curly. So, or not curly, sorry, or mixed. So that's codominant. So incomplete dominance. So the dominant for this one's curly, and the recessive is straight. So Dolly has curly hair, so when she's singing, you can just tell her curly hair. And then Johnny has straight hair. So Dolly is homozygous dominant, while Johnny is homozygous recessive. So you can see that in the Punnett square, how they're all going to be heterozygous, all that offspring. So the genotypic ratio would be that every one of them would be heterozygous, so it would be 4:0, 4 for heterozygous, and then the phenotype is curly hair. So all offspring will have wavy hair. And then now we're on sex-linked, so color blindness. So I don't really know if Dolly Parton's actually colorblind, but for this, she's going to be colorblind in this world. So the dominant is normal vision, while the recessive is colorblind. So the father is homozygous dominant, so he has normal vision, so he's X raised to the N, and then mother is heterozygous, so she's colorblind. So Dolly's colorblind, so she's X raised to the little b. So on this Punnett square here, you have Johnny Depp right here, X raised to the N with Y, and then you have Dolly X raised to the N, and then X raised to the little b for the colorblindness trait. So all the genotypic ratio is 2 homozygous dominant and 2 homozygous recessive, so 1:1. So 50% of the offspring will be colorblind. So that's sex-linked. And then polygenetic height. So the father's genotype is heterozygous, so big A to little a. So father's phenotype, he's tall. So Johnny Depp is 5'10", so that's like, I think 4 inches taller than the average in the United States. So if you put him up against someone who's shorter, you would see that he's taller than average. So the mother's genotype is homozygous recessive. So Dolly Parton's like 5 foot. She's short. She has to wear heels to make up for it. So the mother's phenotype would be shorter than average due to homozygous recessive, and could be caused by nutrition as well as an environmental factor. Well, that's for the environmental factor. So same with Johnny Depp. So maybe when he was younger, maybe he ate better. So that was the reason why he grew more. So that's always a possibility for the environmental factor. And now we're on the offspring. So
Okay, so for the offspring for the son, he has unattached earlobes like both of his parents, and that was the homozygous dominant trait because both of his parents were both also homozygous dominant, which means he is too, and that was 100% chance. He has wavy hair because he is heterozygous, and his mom has straight hair and his mom has curly hair and his dad has straight hair. And so he has wavy hair. For his hair color, he has a brown and blonde hair mix because this is the co-dominant trait, which means they both show up at the same time. So his genotype is big A, big B, and then big A, little d. And that was also 100% probability. He is colorblind, and he had a 50-50 probability because his dad is not colorblind, but his mom is, and his genotype is X to the little b. And then the probability of this offspring inheriting all of these traits, it's 1/1 because of the 100% here, 1/1 because of the wavy hair, 1/1 because of the brown and blonde hair mix, and then 1/2 because he is colorblind. So altogether with the multiplication rule, it equals 1/2 for him to have all of these traits. And you can see here the unattached earlobes, the codominance with the hair color, the wavy hair, and you can't see the color blindness. All right, so for the next offspring, this is the daughter. She also, like her brother, has unattached earlobes with the homozygous dominant trait. That was 100% probability. She also has wavy hair with the heterozygous trait, 100% probability. Also, like her brother, they both have brown and blonde hair, 100% probability because of the parents' hair color and the codominant trait. This would be big A, big B, big A, little d. And then she is not colorblind. Both of her parents passed down their traits, and she ended up being the 50% that was not colorblind. The probability of this offspring inheriting all of these traits is the same with 100%, 100%, 100% times 50%, which would equal 1/2. And we can see her traits here. You can't see the unattached earlobes, but they're there. You can see the codominance with the hair color, wavy hair, and you cannot see, but she is not colorblind.
and that's it.
And that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Bye bye.